Yo, good morning. Much appreciation, American people. So, I was chopping up one of the peoples last night. He did a video this past week. Good peoples by the name of Amani, right? So I'm speaking with him regarding these Chinese bioweapons designed specifically to target DNA, right? So in this discussion, we went over a lot of different things, you know what I'm saying? That's related to all of this, right? And so I pulled up one of the videos that he shared in his presentation, right? And as I'm listening to the video and I'm recalling the conversation this morning and some of the things that I learned between last night and this morning, I just was like, yo, let me go and share this to y'all. And provide some background into this, right? Because the situation is like this, right? We're surrounded by foreigners, okay? People coming from various regions of the world, various cultures, various heritage, various customs, and our American people have not been exposed to what these foreigners have been exposed to. All right. Our customs are different. Diet, everything different here within this American continent. We're different from all of the breeds of foreigners. Bottom line, I've shown plenty of information on this subject. What I want to focus on in this discussion here today, right, is how these cultural differences that we are having to face is very problematic. All right. I titled this Super Eugenicist because, as some of y'all may know, I've been going in on this rat poison issue, right? And how it was developed by eugenicists. Let's just go ahead and get into the subject matter, and I'm going to tie it all in a few moments, all right? Appreciate y'all telling me our presence. I imagine everyone's healthy. This is for awareness purposes. Let's go ahead and get started. Um, let me just give y'all a little background first, right? So a few years ago, right? This is dated 2018. You had some women in a nail salon, right? And they were beaten inside this nail salon. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this big. Okay, so that's the first video I want to, right? So we're done with that, right? And so something in which I want you to keep in mind as I show you all of this, right, is the fact that our American nations don't have treaties with these foreigners. Okay, many of us are of various American nations, right? Whether it's Choctaw, Tuscarora, the Iroquois, Algonquin nations, what have you, right? Anyway, we don't have no treaties with these foreigners, okay, that are doing business in our communities, within our territories, right? And this is why they're able to get away with these things because, one, we don't have treaties with them, but they have treaties with United States, who we do have treaties with. Thing is, though, our people are not made aware of their nations nor of these treaties. This is serious legal matter here, right? Serious legal subject matter here. Okay. Now, continuing, we have a situation where these treaties that these foreigners have with the United States, it gives them a pass to violate and be abusive towards our people. Let's go to the next video, and then I'm gonna show you an article that came out as a result of some of these incidents. Let's continue. So this is dated June 11th, 2022, right? It says some racist Asians tried to overcharge a black woman at a nail salon. Then they attacked her when she exposed their scam. So it is of their custom to exploit for a lot of these foreigners. If they can get away with it, they will. All right. And so she was attacked. Look, this one woman here surrounded. She's in a shop to get her nails done. She's a customer. And this is what happens. Watch. I'll pay your $10. It ain't even worth it. So, it's not even worth it. Bottom line, in regards to that video, right? We all have heard the same commentary. People need to stop going to these salons, right? Situation is, they're in our communities doing business. People choose to cater to these businesses. It is what it is. However, the people need to be aware of very specific fundamental things, such as we have no treaties with these people. Therefore, we should not be doing business with them. We have no contracts with them. They have no obligation to us. Bottom line. Let's continue though, right? So this is how these Asians treat each other, okay? This goes on in China, in various Asian nations, right? Check this out.
Technician across from you is actually a victim of human trafficking.
That was the case at Luxury Nail in Davidson. Now, the owner of that salon will spend 15 years in prison. Our Siobhan Bryan has been following this case. She joins us now with more on this. Siobhan?
Jamie Maureen, bruised and living in fear. That's how prosecutors describe the victim at the center of this case. This after her former employer would beat her, pull her hair out, poured acetone on her head, and threatened her. The U.S. Attorney's Office announced Thuy Tien Luong was sentenced to 15 years in prison after she was convicted of assault and forced labor. Luong was also ordered to pay the victim $75,000 in restitution. Now, I spoke with U.S. Attorney Dina King today. She tells me this forced labor is a form of human trafficking, something she says happens everywhere. King says it's crucial that we all know the signs, things like cash-only transactions or worker not being able to take or handle their own money. These things can help you spot a victim hidden in plain sight.
If you ever are at a place and you see an individual that's unable to speak for themselves, and instead there's someone always speaking for them, or if an individual that is foreign born doesn't have possession of their own travel or immigration documentation.
In fact, U.S. Attorney King says being aware of this type of behavior was key in this case. That regular customers started to pick up on some of these signs and called police to report them. She says that information from people simply being alert while getting their nails done helped investigators in this case. Now, if you or someone you know is a victim of human trafficking, you can reach out to the National Human Trafficking Hotline. The number's on your screen.
And there's so many reports of various breeds of foreigners engaged in human trafficking, right? This is the history. This is of the history of colonization right here in North America alone, throughout this American continent. You know what I'm saying? But here in North America, this is very active. There's plenty of cases on this subject, right? Now, let me go to this one. So this one is Asian man sexually assaulted a disabled quote unquote black woman at Lynn Nails in Fairview Heights. Now, the reason why I'm going over these reports here, right, is to show you how communist China, right? China's a communist nation who we do not, none of our American nations have treaties with them. I have yet to see one. After all these years of studying I've been doing, I've yet to see one treaty with China that any of our American nations have with them, right? Anyway, once again, they're doing business throughout our territories. One, two, they have purchased numerous medical and medical data companies. They own medical data companies, okay? Hospitals included. Shared that yesterday, right? Including 23andMe and these type of sites that collect DNA. And China has been developing these bio weapons that are DNA specific. We're about to get to that video in a few moments, but I'm just lining all of this up for you to give you perspective into the minds of these people that are embedded amongst us. Let's continue.
In Fairview Heights, Only News 4's Jenna Ray has the details tonight. Jenna.
Sam and Corey, we're live here at Lynn Nails, just a couple miles down the road from St. Clair Square Mall, a typically very busy area during the day. And happening right now, Fairview Heights police are working on charges. The woman who was a customer at this nail salon says it happened on Sunday, but tonight she says she's still in disbelief.
I had told him from the beginning, I said, well, I'm paralyzed from the waist down. It felt like I felt my feet slide up under something at first. And I looked at him strange, and I'm like, he say, do you feel this? Do you feel this? And I'm like, feel what? Just like that. And he say, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Chanel Johnson has been going to Lynn Nails in Fairview Heights for years. She says after the nail technician asked her several times if she could feel anything, she became weary.
I snuck my phone up under the table, and I kept joking with him over the table so he wouldn't think nothing suspicious was going on.
While recording, Johnson says her phone died. When she got to her car and was able to charge the phone and get it back on, she saw something so obscene that we're not showing you the video. But behind the blur, the man's genitals are exposed.
You rubbing your private parts all over me. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Johnson called police and took to Facebook to vent. Then other people started commenting saying they've experienced something similar at Lynn Nails. The owner, Lynn Kim, posted this on Facebook, writing the employee was set up by Miss Johnson, claiming he's easily tricked by others.
I'm with News 4. The news channel. KMOV.
I went to Lynn Nails Wednesday to talk to Lynn Kim, the owner. She told me she needed someone to translate for her. A gentleman told me they didn't know about Chanel Johnson's incident until the employee was arrested. They say they don't accept his actions and that it's inappropriate.
When I watched this video, ma'am, this cannot be the first time. It doesn't look like it. I mean, how? I mean, I would have never thought of nothing like this to do up under a nail table, ma'am.
Now, I've reached out to Fairview Heights Police several times today to get a little bit more information and detail on exactly.
So, this is real disturbing, right? Because, once again, too many of our American people are completely unaware of the customs, of the culture, of the history of these foreigners that are embedded within our territories. If you was to take a moment to look into things that are taking place within China, for example, right? you'll see all types of abuses routinely, regularly occur against their own people. What they do against themselves. I'm talking about all out murders, like people killing each other with butcher knives in the middle of the street, assaulting elderly people, killing them, people setting themselves on fire, people jumping out of buildings, all types of rapes and all types of crazy shits going on, right? Now, so for the video we showed a moment ago, right? With those women that was in that nail salon, right? Where it says here they were beaten with brooms and sprayed with acetone. Okay. Well, it says here, judge dismisses charges against Brooklyn nail salon employees who beat them. It says here, ruling that there was not enough evidence to sustain the allegations against the two female workers. The nail salon is no longer active, however. For them, it's nothing to set up another business with a new name, right? Once again, we don't have no treaties with them, but they have treaties with the United States, though, right? Now we're going to go ahead and get into this video here, okay? And I'm going to pause this video to show you some of the research that I found in regards to the rat poison situation, because over there in China, they are a major chemical manufacturer. They have numerous companies in China that manufacture chemicals, including this rat poison chemical. Let's go and get into this video.
And ethnicity targeting. China's war ambitions. Race and ethnicity targeting bioweapons. Hear me out. I am the first person to dispel myths, over-reporting, or just sensationalism in general. I just don't like it. Lots of people get China wrong, both positively and negative. I have to say, I've avoided covering this discovery because of just how crazy it actually sounds. But here's the deal. I lived in China for 10 years, and I'm very, very careful about what I cover because I need to fully understand a topic before speaking on it. But recently, I've stumbled across something, and when I read about it and fact-checked it and came to fully understand it, it turned out to be one of the most disturbing and sinister ambitions I've ever seen from the Chinese government. And now that I do understand it, I think that there's an incredibly important lesson to learn from it. We need to talk about something, and that something's called precision medicine. Precision medicine looks at the genetics, the DNA, the environment, the lifestyle of a person in order to select a better treatment that could work best for them. It's simple to understand the basics. All you need to know is that understanding the genome or the human DNA structure can target certain diseases, like Alzheimer's or cancer. Amazing stuff, really. The USA launched a precision medicine initiative, and it pumped an initial investment of $215 million into it. I want you to remember that figure for later. An amazing example of precision medicine is the University of Wisconsin scientists who made an exogenous naked DNA and injected it into the veins for easy access into muscle cells for gene therapy.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there for a moment. Right now, let me share something to you, right? They just mentioned the University of Wisconsin, okay? For those of you that are aware, in my book, We the People have been published, right? I'll show how these eugenicists from the University of Wisconsin developed this rat poison chemical, okay? Here it is right here. Professor called Paul Link, okay? This is who developed that rat poison chemical. He was a professor at University of Wisconsin, okay? This is back in the early 1900s, 1932 specifically. Okay. Continuing with this, right? You have another scientist, okay, by the name of Chauncey D. Leake. I showed in my research how Chauncey D. Leake, he sat on Planned Parenthood's board of directors. He was a member of the board. Okay. This is him here. Chauncey D. Leake. He's a eugenicist. Another one, right? Look, received his MS and PhD from the University of Wisconsin in pharmacy and physiology. His employment, right? U.S. military chemical warfare service studied the effects of toxic war gases on the acid-base balance of blood, cellular oxidative mechanisms in the medulla oblongata, with subsequent increase of oxidative processes. Medical Defense Division in the Physiology and Pharmacology Laboratories of the University of Wisconsin. Okay. President of the Sex Education Society in San Francisco, ran a birth control clinic, which later grew into the Planned Parenthood program. This language here is from his biography. Okay. And once again, board of directors for Planned Parenthood Federation of America. Another member of the board, David H. McConnell. He's the president and founder of the California Perfume Company, which later became Avon. All right. So basically, what I'm doing here, I'm showing you a connection between these eugenicists. Now, on this subject of DNA specific weapons being made, right? So let's get this straight real quick. They have rat poisoned millions of people within each generation since they developed this, right? Let's just give it 60 years worth of rat poisoning. Let's just give it 60, right? On up to right now, because people are being rat poisoned right now. In addition to the rat poisoning, right? And all the profits in which they've secured and the devastation of people's natural health, right? Your DNA is also being gathered, harvested, being used to develop bioweapons specific to your DNA. Okay, let's continue with the video.
Does that not sound amazing? We might be looking at a future with less and less disease, longer lifespans, more time with loved ones, with less pain.
Let me pause this again too. So hold on. It says that this science is to prevent things like Alzheimer's and cancer, etc. But meanwhile, this rat poison chemical that was developed by the same university, University of Wisconsin, right? It causes things such as cancer and numerous other conditions. Neurodegenerative conditions are caused by this rat poison, right? Let's continue.
Less suffering. Until you understand the Chinese government and the People's Liberation Army, the Army of China's ambitions truly are. In fact, let me quote a colonel of the Chinese People's Liberation Army, Guo Jiwei, Director of Medical Affairs, with the exact same quote I just told you. But this time, I'll finish the sentence. University of Wisconsin scientists have made an exogenous naked DNA and injected it into veins for easy access into muscle cells for gene therapy. By combining this knowledge and particle gun technology, we could create a micro bullet out of 1 micrometer of tungsten or gold ion, on whose surface plasmid DNA or naked DNA could be precipitated.
This is what is being developed, a particle gun. Yo, do you hear this shit?
And deliver the bullet via a gunpowder explosion, electron transmission, or high-pressure gas to penetrate the body's surface.
Right? This is advanced warfare here. A DNA coding designed to destroy your body. Let's continue with this. He says some very serious things here.
We could then release DNA molecules to integrate with the host cells through blood circulation and cause disease or injury by controlling genes.
We could then release DNA molecules to integrate with the host cells through blood circulation and cause disease or injury by controlling genes. And they have how much? How many people's DNA? How much DNA data do they have from how many people? Through companies like 23andMe and others that have been deceiving people in regards to genealogy, learning your family history and things of this nature via your DNA. And so that data has been sold, as we've discussed within the past 2 days. Your data has been sold. People paid for the service that is designed for entertainment purposes only. That data then was sold, and weapons are being developed. Over 10 years of this. And once again, none of the Pan-Africans, none of the other breeds of foreigners that have been promoting these fake DNA tests, well, none of them have taken the time to give people an update of this nature here, right? The update of we could release DNA molecules to integrate with the host cells through blood circulation and cause disease or injury by controlling genes. And in regards to blood circulation, once again, they nearly have 100 years worth of blood circulation destruction via this rat poison chemical. So we're talking about some serious things to come. This is advanced warfare. We are literally in a super eugenicist fucking paradise right now. This is super eugenicist paradise. Imagine if Margaret Sanger was president right now. Let's say Margaret Sanger wasn't president 100 years ago when she was, right? When she started Planned Parenthood. Let's say she was president right now in her prime in 2022. Matter of fact, let's just take it 10 years back. Let's say she was president in 2012. How happy would she be right now? Fuck the hypothetics. No, fuck the hypotheticals. How about this? We got people that praise and that continue the work and the legacy of Margaret Sanger present right now. Right here in North America. University of Wisconsin, still very active. They filed a patent on coumarin, the rat poison chemical. They have the patent. They own the patent. Yeah. I really don't think people see the severity of everything that I've been sharing within the past year on this subject of this rat poison. But now with this additional variable of DNA, millions of people's data has been compromised. Their legacy, I'm talking about your posterity, your continued existence is literally on the line. Ours collectively is on the line by people that give no fuck about us. All this shit we hear in these rap songs by these foreign-owned corporations, right? They got our youth chanting messages of death and shit like that, etc. Well, guess what? These people are really living that shit. They really are invested in that shit in a way in which, we can't even fucking fathom. We can't even comprehend. You see it on the screen right now. We could then release DNA molecules to integrate with the host cells through blood circulation and cause disease or injury by controlling genes. Let's continue.
You ever wonder why the government was so eager to get genetic information from a large sample of global gene data? from pregnancy tests and DNA tests and other things. If you didn't know, China has access to an incredible amount of people's DNA, maybe even yours. A Chinese company, BGI, sold international pregnancy tests. So far, more than 8 million women have taken BGI's prenatal tests globally. Not only that, but multiple Chinese companies have contracts to access U.S. genetic.
You see this? See this on the screen right here? Look. Table 1, China's exposure to the U.S. genetic testing market company, Novagene. Okay? Contracts to receive U.S. genetic data, landed U.S. holdings to process data, client hospital institution, multiple open, BGI. Look, Johns Hopkins, Mount Sinai, Children's Hospital, Philadelphia, Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center, Complete Genomics. Okay? Those are the contracts that they have. All right? With BGI. GenWiz, multiple open. We go down here, Wu C, Healthcare, 23andMe. Look at this.
Genetic data. I'm not kidding. Johns Hopkins, Mount Sinai, these institutions receive U.S. genetic data. Some of these companies even have U.S. holdings to process data. And why would China want to access all of this data? Well, the answers are a lot more nefarious than I had originally thought. You see, the Chinese military owns that company. You know, that one that made the pregnancy test? And it might be connected to something that we once only thought was in science fiction nightmares. China comes up with something called a 5-year plan for everything. It's a communist thing. They come up with these goals and targets that they must hit. And when they don't, they move the goalposts and said they did. A great example would be Xi Jinping, the leader of China's poverty alleviation campaign. It was declared in a 5-year plan that China would completely eradicate poverty. Fast forward 5 years, and of course there was still poverty in China, but they had to say that they finished it off. So now the standard of poverty has been changed to only $400-some per year. That's pretty poor if you ask me. Anyway, the 5-year plan in question today is the one put forward about precision medicine. If you look at the outline, it really looks fine and dandy.
Yo, I want y'all to look at the faces of these people on the screen here, right? Do you think they give a fuck about you? They don't even give a fuck about their own people, right? And remember, keep in mind here, we don't have no treaties with them. None of our American nations have treaties with them. None of them. Yo, I see we have 8 people in the chat. 8 people watching. We got 11. Appreciate y'all presence. Yeah, Empress Awaken, I see you. Appreciate your presence as well. How you doing? I look forward to reading your comments about this. This is serious shit right here. You know what I'm saying? This is real serious. I'm going to continue though.
Until you get to the last and final feature. It says, national security focus includes special limitation on foreign access. Foreign organizations, individuals, and their institutions established or actually controlled shall not collect or preserve human genetic resources in China.
Now, this language is so great. This is fantastic language here. I mean, is this not something we should have for ourselves, our American nations? You know, over the years, I've been working towards so many things. Unfortunately, I don't have enough people to work with to get these things done. But these are the type things that I have prepared, have been working to prepare for implementation. Everything that we don't have, that we need, I've been working towards. So to all the good peoples that I work with and what have you, thing is, we don't have the resources China has, the United States has. It is what it is. Of course, we're still working, we're still striving. But let's take a look at this language here. So this is the regulations of the People's Republic of China on the management of human genetic resources. It says, National security focus includes special limitations on foreign access. Foreign organizations, individuals, and their institutions established or actually controlled shall not collect or preserve human genetic resources in China within the territory of our country and may not provide human genetic resources of our country abroad. Yo, I commend them for that. Even though China don't give a fuck about their own people like that, they treat their own people like slaves and what have you. It is what it is. Thing is, though, they are totalitarian. They are invested in securing their own self-interest, their interest as a nation. Okay? Yo, where's our equivalent? When China has our data, right? They have the data of our American people, people of our American nations. Is this not important? I mean, seriously, is this not important? This is outrageous. This is really incredible to me, man. Just the totality, the entirety of what's really going on. That there is a tremendous lack of discussion just for the purpose of awareness at the minimum. There is a tremendous lack of discussion on this subject matter. Salute to Amani for sharing this video on his presentation this past week. This is important. Literally, our future, our existence is on the line. I've shared multiple times. Foreigners, they have invested in our annihilation, extermination, and extinction. Once again, this is a super eugenicist paradise right now at our people's expense. Let's continue.
Within the territory of our country, it may not provide human genetic resources of our country abroad. So basically, China has an access to a plethora of foreign genome data, and it restricts the outside world from its own. A bit suspect, but hey, that's just how China does everything, right? Then you look at the investment thrown at the technology. Do you remember when I told you to remember that $215 million figure from earlier? That's what the US invested in the technology for disease prevention and treatment. Do you know how much the Chinese government invested? $9.2 billion. The US invested 2% of what China did. And it might not be for what the CCP wants you to think it's for. Enter civil-military fusion, or dual-use biology. It was adopted in 2016 alongside that precision medicine thing.
6 years ago. That's only 6 years ago. What is 6 years going to look like from now? In 2028. What's 2028 going to look like? 2030. We heard what Joe Biden said when he got in office in regards to quote unquote African Americans, right? Quote unquote black people, right? He told those quote unquote black African American leaders, they're not going to be here. I don't have that clip right now in front of me. I'm gonna have to show that another time. Feel free to look that up when he was on that Zoom meeting. What was that, 2020, right? And he told those quote unquote black leaders they're not going to be here. Let's continue.
I just told you about. So as not to make any mistakes, let me just quote the Chinese military and scientists directly. The weaponization of biological bodies will become a reality in the future. Biotechnology will make biological weaponization a reality. New, non-traditional forms of confrontation, such as biological attack, biological destruction, and ecological control will become possible.
Ecological control will become possible. Yeah. We got some serious shit coming. And we don't have enough people aware nor on point, let alone concerned. about this current and present reality. Rat poison is one thing. That's definitely something people need to be aware of. Absolutely. What I'm showing you here is how all of these things are related. These corporations, these multinational corporations, they have long contracts with each other, long contracts with long resources. We, the people, not only just need to be aware, but we also need to prepare ourselves so that we can secure ourselves, we can preserve ourselves, our health, the health of our daughters and sons. This is what it's about, the future of our people, the legacy, the continuation. We have to counter the fact that the foreigners want to annihilate, exterminate, and make us extinct so that they can claim our resources. I have a couple things I want to share to you within this presentation. Um, Once again, I look forward to your comments and your feedback or what have you. Um, I'm just encouraging y'all to be aware. It's vital that we are aware, that we are on the same page.
Biotechnological weapons can cause destruction that is both more powerful and more civilized than that caused by conventional killing methods, like gunpowder or nuclear weapons. The increased pace of development of modern biotechnology tells us that the day on which we will begin to make full military use of its advantages is not
too far off. The increased pace of development of modern biotechnology tells us that the day on which we will begin to make full military use of its advantages is not too far off.
too far off. We believe that command of military biotechnology is a reasonable scientific presumption, not a scientific illusion. Emphasis was placed on the potential offensive applications of biotechnology, including ethnic genetic attacks.
Including ethnic genetic attacks. Yo, once again, this guy has shared how China has gathered the DNA of many millions of people across the world. My focus is our American people's data, the lives of our American people. So many of our American people, once again, have been deceived by individuals such as Henry Louis Gates and all these other Pan Africans, all these Negropean foreigners and whoever else, whatever other breeds of foreigners, right? That have no regard, no respect, no appreciation for our American nation's descendants, us, right? They have no regard, no concern. We have no idea who they're contracted to. We see that the HBCUs have been funded by numerous foreign companies. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Students are being recruited, have been since at least the 1980s. I shared a lot of information on this subject last year. Are our youth being made aware of this? Is this not important for them to know? They're going to be mothers and fathers at some point if they make it, right? That's what this is about. If they make it. If they make it, that means we make it, right? Our existence is on the line.
In other words, attacks that target specific races or ethnic groups of people. Through gene manipulation, we can attack or injure one or more key human physiological functions. The ability to learn, memorize, keep one's balance, or perform fine motor activity.
Through gene manipulation, we can attack or injure one or more key human physiological functions, the ability to learn, memorize, keep one's balance, or perform fine motor activities, motor skills, right? The rat poison chemical is already doing this. It's already doing this. Yo, yo, we are in a mess right now.
When attacking an enemy with biotechnological military weapons, we can cause physiological dysfunction by producing an ultra-micro damaging effect to a gene or protein structure and functioning.
DNA weapons. This is a eugenicist paradise right now. These are super eugenicists right here. Working with other super eugenicists. They're all working together. From North America to China. They're all working together. Been working together. Not limited to North America and China. Yo, I showed y'all the information from what is that, Centers for Medical Progress, their reports on how Planned Parenthood has been selling aborted fetal tissue for many, many years now, well over 10 years. It's on congressional record right now. Corporations as far as those out of Persia, Iranians, etc., have aborted fetal tissue, pure genetic information, pure genetic data, used for whatever research, used for whatever development, and they're paying top dollar. We're talking about billion. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's documented, quote unquote, black babies are the most aborted, a rate of 1,000 per year. Pardon me. Oh, let me correct that. I said that wrong. 1,000 per day, 1,000 per day since 1973. That's over 300,000 a year since 1973. The babies that live, rat poisoned, right? And now we got this to deal with.
Precision injury and ultra-micro damage are two vulnerating methods based on genomics and proteomics. Unlike weapons that use ammunition whose damaging effects can only be ascertained after shooting, we can test in a laboratory to the degree of damage biotechnological weapons produce. We can control the degree of injuries and damage produced, and even provide an antidote or a cure, a vaccine, a counter-vulnerating agent, or a piece of bioinformation. Providing such an anodyne to our enemies would represent real mercy.
See this? This is key here. So, I've spoken to numerous people just within the past year alone pertaining to the harm they've experienced to their natural health due to the rat poisoning, right? Um, if it's caught early, there's specific treatments that can be done, right? To um basically turn, correct your health, correct the damage that's been done. Your body can rejuvenate itself, right? What's being described right here is slavery. Providing such an anodyne to our enemies would represent real mercy. Mercy, right? Why would they want to provide that for their enemies? Why would they? It comes with a cost. China already has a background in enslaving entire countries. It's happening in Africa. It's been happening in Africa. Numerous African nations, countries, etc., are literally in debt to China right now. It's also happening in Central and South America. In the Caribbean, it's happening. With awareness comes preparedness, right? Problem, reaction, solution. These are problems. What's going to be our reaction? What will be the solution? For every action, there's a reaction, right? We see what's going on. This is their plan here. We could control the degree of injuries and damage produced and even provide an antidote or a cure, a vaccine, a counter vulnerating agent, or a piece of bioinformation. Okay, so studies need to be done immediately. This needs to be countered. People got to be informed. Yo, we have to reestablish being merciful to each other. We can't depend on these foreigners for their mercy. They haven't been merciful. They have no history of being merciful. We have no agreements with them for them to be merciful. Mercy. Providing such an anodyne to our enemies would represent real mercy. Damn. Did we even know that we was these people's enemies? We know that they've been our enemies, but damn, there was no formal declaration of war on us. Let's continue.
You see, China has agreed to non-proliferation of bioweapons, and it has stated that it abandoned all bioweapons research that it previously pursued. It also consistently denied any interest or pursuit of biological weapons in formal statements, declarations, and disclosures by its state leaders and media. However, I want you to pay very close attention to this. It also states China should not hesitate, if it should have to defend itself, to use as many means of warfare as possible, including weapons that are not permitted by international law and rules of war, such as chemical and biological weapons. Do you understand the absolute hypocrisy of these statements? This is something that the Chinese government does in business, trade agreements, and world institutions. They say one thing and they do another. And you, behind the language barrier, do not understand why they're doing so. Whether it's lab-born or natural, the pandemic has been a fantastic proof of concept for the Chinese government to show how devastating a negative biological impact can be.
Let me run that back real quick.
Biological weapons. Do you understand the absolute hypocrisy of these statements?
I want y'all to observe these females here, okay? Now, foreigners have invested in their female military strength, all right? These females that you see here, for all we know, these could be the females working in these nail salons, working in the carryouts and wherever within our territories. We have no idea what these people's backgrounds are. They change their names when they get here. Before they get here. For real, for real. They change their names. You don't know their background. All these immigrants, they change their names. We don't know their background. But yet still they're embedded in our territories. This is real.
This is something the Chinese government does in business, trade agreements, and world institutions. They say one thing and they do another. And you, behind the language barrier, do not understand why they're doing so. Whether it's lab-born or natural, the pandemic has been a fantastic proof of concept for the Chinese government to show how devastating a negative biological impact can be, and has successfully tested how it can be used for domestic propaganda. In other words, look at the rest of the world in economic and social squalor, bickering over vaccines, and turning the pandemic into a partisan issue. Think Republican versus Democrat. While we, China, have controlled the narrative and blocked enough information about the true devastation of the virus here at home, that the Chinese populace sees us the CCP as not only the victors, but also the saviors. There is a fantastic podcast I just listened to from my buddy Jordan Harbinger. It's a good friend of mine. He puts on an excellent show, but he just interviewed a guy named Rob Reed on episode 510. The episode's called Why the Future is a Good Kind of Scary. They talk about, while the fact that COVID-19 has been devastating on a global scale, it's comparatively benign when we consider how bad it could have been, with a deadlier, more transmissible virus and a decimated infrastructure without access to basic necessities. He talks about why gain-of-function research is so dangerous, and he talks about how the death toll inflicted by the society's mass murderers is limited only by the weapons that they have available. It's absolutely fascinating stuff, and I highly, highly recommend you check it out. It's completely free. Link is down in the description and the pinned comment. Definitely give it a listen. And don't forget to subscribe. No matter where you get your podcast, make sure you subscribe to the show. Highly recommend it. But riddle me this. How are we not paying attention to the fact that high-ranking people in the Chinese military are publishing books and papers and possibly coinciding with biomilitary research that quite literally is a biological weapon that targets the human genome to specifically attack certain ethnicities and races? And they're using American and international data to do so, all while blocking the world from access to their own data. There is a serious imbalance in how China is treated. And no, I'm not calling for war. War is devastation. Bad information led to the Iraq War. Immoral torture techniques used by the US government on terrorists misled American leaders to think that there was a connection between Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden. And it led to literal devastation. And it was unnecessary at that. Colin Powell led us Americans to believe, based on his intel, that there was going to be biological weapons of mass destruction against Americans. And we went to war. And countless people died. Billions of dollars were lost, and over 200,000 people have died at the hands of both sides since the U.S. invaded Iraq. That disaster was from weak and bad information. Guess what? Here we are with actual documents from the Chinese military, which outlines research about how to racially target people's genetics of certain ethnicities to torture, disable, and murder them. Somehow, that's okay. We have a country's government with more than 4 million people's blood on their hands because its face, reputation, and pride was more important than being transparent and stopping the spread of a deadly pandemic. Its lies did this to the world. And to rub salt in the wound, it blames the USA and other countries for the origin and threatens military conflict. We and the rest of the world usually say we should treat China with compassion and understanding. Meanwhile, China says kill all foreigners with bioweapons. However, we don't need to respond with hate. No, inclusion and understanding is one of the best attributes of American culture. It's not perfect, but I believe that America is a nice country with people, for the most part, who are very welcoming. I think China's the same.
Yeah. All right. So, that's that video there. Yeah. Empress Awaken. Absolutely. Diabolical sons of bitches. Yep. These are super eugenicists. Mama Chief. How you doing? Alito. That's right. These are big facts, right? And once again, y'all got to ask, is this not important? Let me show you something else, right? So once again, my conversation with Amani, right? He shared this to me. This right here was very interesting, okay? So look at this. So this is from United States Patent and Trademark Office, right? And this trademark here is for the word mark African American. Shout outs to Amani for his research and for what he shared this past week. He shared this to me in a conversation last night, right? And I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. So it says here, word mark African American, right? The international class and the goods and services, right? Dolls, doll clothing, dolls beds, dolls feeding bottles, etc. Dolls, right? Toy imitation cosmetic infant toys, okay? It says first used in commerce in May of 2021. Or the first use, and the first use of commerce was in June of 2021, last year, right? Continuing here, right? It says design, beards, hair extensions, human hair, locks of hair, wigs, beards, mustaches, toupees, wigs, etc., right? Cats, domestic cats, kittens. Something is unknown here, right? Let's fast forward. This one right here. It says ears of four-footed mammals or primates, excluding humans. So once again, y'all, this is pertaining to this trademark of African American. All right. You know, the eugenicists reclassified our American people, our American nation's descendants into Negro, black, colored, mulatto, updated black and African American, right? Eyes of four-footed mammals or primates, excluding humans. Other parts of four-footed mammals or primates, excluding humans. I want y'all to keep this in mind here, right? In regards to African American and the exclusion of humans. Snouts of four-footed mammals or primates, excluding humans. Tails of four-footed mammals or primates, excluding humans. Teeth of four-footed mammals or primates, excluding humans. Tusk of four-footed mammals or primates, excluding humans, right? Once again, this pertains to this trademark for African American. The goods and services is pertaining to dolls. Interesting, right? Let's continue. So it says here, Ding Wan Lu, individual of China, number one address right here. That's the owner, the attorney of record of Bol Yuan. Bol Yuan. Okay. So I decided to look up this Bol Yuan, right? Let me show you this Bol Yuan real quick. One moment. And this is what I found interesting. I shared this to Amani last night. So I immediately looked the guy up and I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. Look at what we have right here. Look, check this out. University of Wisconsin, Madison. So hold on, what did I share to y'all in regards to this rat poison situation? University of Wisconsin, right? Do you see what's going on here? Is this not another connection? Let's get a little more into University of Wisconsin. This is all in my book, right? Let me show you this. So one of the eugenicists, right, that is, I believe she was a president of one of the Planned Parenthood locations, right? Where is she at? Here she is. One moment. Deborah Nucatola, MD. All right? That's her. So I say on this page here, as I continue my research, it was interesting to find a current PPFA, that's Planned Parenthood Federation of America director, that confirms an active connection between the University of Wisconsin, the institution that created the rat poison chemical ingredient warfarin / coumarin, right? Deborah Nucatola, Senior Director of Medical Services, Planned Parenthood Federation of America, obstetrics and gynecology, University of Wisconsin graduate. Okay. And she was involved in the selling of aborted fetal tissue. Okay. Over 40 pieces of organs and tissues of one aborted fetus are pre-ordered and prepaid for without consent and full disclosure. All right. So now, back to this African American trademark filing of this Bo Yuan, University of Wisconsin, Madison, right? Did she know Deborah? Did this Bo Yuan, did he know Deborah? Did Deborah know him? He's a graduate. He graduated May 2018. Okay. He's a lawyer, Chinese lawyer in Philadelphia. He deals with immigration law and business law. All right. This is his LinkedIn profile. And he's the attorney that filed this trademark. This is the attorney of record for the African American trademark. And this trademark is alive. That means that this trademark is active. It was just filed last year. I need to find a video for y'all real quick. Give me one moment while I locate this video. So China just recently had an Olympic situation where there was some quote unquote African American, Black American athletes, basketball athletes that went to you know, perform in the Olympics, right? And as soon as they got off their bus, they were immediately met. They were already met. Like it was already, those people were already there. Those Chinese people was already there. What should we say? Was it protesting? No, it wasn't protesting. Was it harassing? What exactly was it? Let me locate this video here. Because to say the least, it was very, very, very offensive, right? Very offensive. Imagine being an athlete, a young athlete at that. Only thing you know is how to perform as an athlete. Your life isn't based on these fields of study here. Basically, what I'm getting to, our youth are not being prepared for this real world. They're just not. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to locate this video here. I might gotta run a search for it. Where is it at? Yeah, shouts to History Real. He shared this on Instagram early this year. But I want you all to see this. You know, situation is our youth need to be not only aware but prepared for what's going on. Let me just run a search on this real quick. I need y'all to see this footage here because once again, this is how these young athletes were met in China. One moment while I run this search. Here it is. MJ Gibbons, how you doing? Okay, here's a video right here. This is on Twitter. Yeah. That we have to be aware of out here, especially our youth. You know, our American nations are literally completely vulnerable at this point. Completely vulnerable. So this is from January 18 this year, 2022. All right. Wait for the video to load. Here it is. Can I do it big? Can I do it? Okay, here it is right there. Yep, do it big. So once again, yeah, these are young athletes that went to China to perform in the Olympics this year. Okay, and this is how they were greeted. Okay, so this person who posted this, it says a crowd of people welcoming black athletes in China by shouting slurs including nigger, 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 get out of China, fuck you, shows how acutely hostile China has become to any outsiders and how acutely racist it remains towards the black community. All right. So when we put all of this into perspective, right, we have this trademark filing here pertaining to African American, right, excluding humans. Okay. It's filed by this guy. He's the attorney of record, this Bold Yuan, and he's a graduate of University of Wisconsin-Madison Law School, the same university responsible for the rat poison chemical and personal care cosmetic products, right? With, once again, China being of the largest manufacturers. I'm talking about the country has multiple companies that manufactures chemicals, including the rat poison chemical, right? Once again, the rat poison chemical is patented by University of Wisconsin. Let me show you that in the book as well. Let me show you that again. The patent was filed in the 1940s. Okay, where we at? Here it is right here. In 1932, Professor Paul Link discovered coumarin. Okay, he discovered it in 1932. From this discovery, he developed and patented in 1947 warfarin. Part of the name comes from Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation. This is of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I've shown this in my research. Feel free to pull up the previous presentations I did on the rat poison subject and these eugenicists. But once again, y'all, we're dealing with super eugenicists right now. These are super eugenicists, okay? They have no regard for our American people. We are fully open to exploitation in 2022 forward, unless we do what is necessary to secure ourselves. Bottom line, we don't have enough people communicating truth to power, as certain individuals like to say. Once again, yeah, these black fanatics, as I call them, these sniggers, these smalls, etc., you know, these Pan-Africans and whoever else that told our American people to, take a DNA test, right? Okay, check it. They did not return with an update pertaining to how your DNA is being harvested by China. Now check out this video here. China calls on U.S. to clarify rumor of alleged biological weapons. This is not a rumor. I just showed you that video. Check this video out. Let's get into this one.
Once. Ukraine does not have a biological weapons program. There are no Ukrainian biological weapons laboratories supported by the United States, not near Russia's border or anywhere. So here are the facts. Ukraine owns and operates its own public health laboratory infrastructure. These facilities make it possible to detect and diagnose diseases like COVID-19, which benefit us all. The United States has assisted Ukraine to do this safely and securely.
Mm-hmm.
This is work that has
Really?
been done proudly, clearly, and out in the open.
Really?
This work has everything to do with protecting the health of people.
Mm-hmm.
It has absolutely nothing to do with biological weapons. In fact, it is Russia that has long maintained a biological weapon program in violation of international law. It is Russia that has a well-documented history of using chemical weapons.
Mm-hmm.
It is Russia who is the aggressor here. We have serious concerns that Russia may be planning, and it is deep.
Okay, so long story short, this is a bunch of bullshit. Once again, I just showed that video. That video is in the description. The video that I showed a few moments ago.
An advertisement.
Pertaining to the Chinese DNA specific bioweapons, right? I mean, there's plenty of evidence on this. Plenty of evidence. I haven't looked into Ukraine's involvement in regards to their deals with China, but with this Hunter Biden laptop situation, that provided publicly, whoever released that information, they have shown the collusion, conspiracy of the Biden administration with both China and Ukraine. Once again, this is for awareness purposes. We have things that we must discuss amongst ourselves. I'm sharing this to you, offering what I'm aware of, in addition to these other sources of information, what have you, because we need to be aware. I'm going to drop this link in the chat as well. This is Army University Press. It's an article by them dealing with ethnic weapons, okay? There's some PDFs on here. It says download PDF, and they also have the original PDF. It says, let me zoom in. A new generation of chemical weapons seems to be growing out of information collected and interpreted in research centers of both East and West. So far, chemical agents have been considered effective mainly against tactical targets of limited area. Even if this view may still be maintained, a new edge can be honed to an already formidable weapon. All right. Forthcoming chemical agents with selective man-stopping power will put into the hands of an assailant a weapon with which he cannot be attacked. At the bottom of this new reasoning lies a careful exploration of the reaction of individual soldiers to chemical agents. I would definitely encourage you to get into this. Okay? Such highly toxic enzyme inhibitors demonstrate quite convincingly the need for an orderly mobilization of molecules for a given mission, in this case, signal transmission. We're talking about serious military research. Once again, in my book, right, I'll show y'all this guy who's also behind this rat poison chemical, right? Talking about nearly 100 years worth of research that has gone into this, right? 100 years worth of research that they've done into how to kill off specific populations of people, okay? Here's a guy right here. He's the guy sitting on the left. That is Chauncey D. Leak. He was a member of the board of directors of Planned Parenthood Federation of America, okay? Once again, he's a graduate of University of Wisconsin, okay? His employment, U.S. military chemical warfare service studied the effects of toxic war gases on the acid-base balance of blood. the effects. He studied the effects of toxic war gases on the acid-base balance of blood, cellular oxidative mechanisms in the medulla oblongata with subsequent increase of oxidative processes. Once again, the rat poison chemical causes oxidative stress. That is cellular death. That means your cells, your bodies, the cells, your blood is cellular, right? He studied how to destroy it. They reference gases here. So once again, I just want to put perspective into your minds, right? When you spray your perfume, cologne, air freshener, what have you, right? Body spray, whatever it may be, and you see coumarin on it, that's the rat poison. That's toxic war gas. That's a chemical weapon. Spraying rat poison? Does that not can that not be classified as a chemical weapon? That's disrupting your body on a cellular level, therefore making this a bioweapon? Once again, y'all, I ask, is this not serious? Is this not important? And once again, University of Wisconsin is connected to China. They connected to China. We have no idea how many aborted fetuses have been sold to China. Once again, since 1973, there have been daily 1,000 quote unquote aborted black babies. Over 300,000 a year since 1973. Yo, this book is a wealth of knowledge here, okay? I would encourage anybody interested to get the ebook or the paperback. All right, the ebook comes with the paperback. They just individually, if you like, directly from southinside.us. You say here, MJ Givens. Great info. Appreciate you. People don't realize how they target us. That's right. People really don't. Empress Awake and Tony, when you get a chance, look up Michael Baxter at Real Raw News. Much intel. Okay. Yeah, I'll check him out. Most definitely. We'll see what he got going on. I just ask, preserve yourselves. Encourage your people to preserve themselves. You know, it is of the utmost importance for the preservation of our people, our American legacy, right? We got a lot going on. The future's in front of us. The future's right now. We're dealing with advanced foreign weaponry right now. We have a duty to ourselves. Our daughters and sons deserve a better experience. How can they have a better experience if we don't know what we're dealing with? Shouts to Mama Chief for sharing this rat poison information to me so that I could become aware and conduct this research. It's a wealth of information in this one book. And it's one book, it's a wealth of information. Salute to everyone that has provided feedback within the past year on their experiences and what they've learned and what they've done since becoming aware of this rat poison chemical and how their health has improved and the health of their people have improved, so on and so forth. We need more of this. The best health is preventative health. We got to take action to secure ourselves. We got too many locations throughout our territories that are selling poison. There are simple things that can be done. Very simple things that can be done. What's not so simple is getting the people together to get those simple things done. That's what's not so simple. Is it possible? Absolutely, it's possible. My question is, who wants to make it possible? Who wants to make it happen? I'm literally one man. And I work with a few other good men and women. And I appreciate everyone. Thing is, we have to appreciate the fact that we can do something about all of this. Yo, I don't want to take too much of your time. Appreciate y'all time and y'all presence. Appreciate y'all attention. Definitely feel free to share this video. Share the links. Review the information, so on and so forth. Once again, the book is available. StopGenocide.us. The ebook and paperback is available. And once again, y'all, this is in front of us. They've already studied how to destroy our people on a cellular level. Now they're getting DNA specific. DNA specific because they have gained, they have acquired our people's genetic information. All right. Once again, appreciate y'all time and y'all presence. Y'all stay healthy. Y'all stay strong. Self-preservation. Y'all be good.